Hi there, I'm Becky Hammond. Welcome to Isogo TV. Wherever you are on your strengths journey, I want to help you take your greatest strengths and apply them to your everyday work and your everyday life for more success, more energy, and less frustration all the way around. Recently I read that the average adult makes over 35,000 decisions every single day. And when I read that, I resonated. Yes, sometimes even just by halfway through the day, I have experienced decision fatigue. I'm tired of making decisions, big picture decisions or small picture decisions. And I find myself wishing that I had some sort of a tool or a filter through which I could run every decision quickly and just come out with the automatic best choice for us. And that's what we're going to be talking about today in episode 34, the ultimate decision maker. Because after spending some time with an amazing colleague and friend of mine who works a lot in decision making and planning out life, I've realized that there really is that kind of filter. A filter through which we can put our decisions through to come out on the other side saying, yeah, this is going to be a good choice for me. And it becomes much more crystal clear. So, I've seen it in the people around me. I'm certainly at least starting to live it. So let's dive in. There's a reason why Brené Brown has been arguably one of the most influential people in the last decade or so. Her work in vulnerability and shame has been backed by research and equal amounts of passion by her in the way that she talks about showing up for your own life. And borrowing from Teddy Roosevelt, being willing to live life daring greatly. And one of the things she emphasizes as you show up to your own life and get into the arena of your life is your values. That the reason that you need to get laser clear on your values is because when you are in that arena and you get knocked down, which you certainly will, that when you stand back up and brush yourself off, that your values are going to remind you why you're in that arena in the first place, and they're going to keep you there. It reminds me of a book series that I read recently, Mark of the Lion, where literally the main character, Hadassah, was in a Roman arena. She was marched in there. And because she was filled with her values and conviction, she walked in there with peace. And that even when literally she was attacked by a lion, she fell in peace. And that's truly living life by values. And there are a few of us that actually have to be in a Roman arena, since that doesn't really exist anymore. But in the arenas of our lives, these are the things that are going to help us paint the picture of clarity for us. I have a friend and colleague who works in this area of values. She does a lot of values work in her coaching and in her workshop experiences. And she says that values are what light you up and light your way. So these are the things that provide clarity and energy to your life. And as you're making decisions and moving forward one step at a time every day, these are the things that kind of provide that clarity to your path, that way forward, that is going to be consistent so you can make the best decision for you. So for example, for her, she's realized that freedom is one of the values that she holds most high. So when she is able to make decisions for her business or her family or her career or for her clients, she holds it up to this filter of her values. That she says, okay, does this lead me towards freedom or away from freedom? And if it's towards freedom, then she can say yes, confidently. And if it's away from freedom, she can re-articulate or change the decision based on not being aligned with freedom. Or she has the possibility of really literally saying no. Because sometimes a good thing is not as good as the best thing. That best thing is always going to be aligned with your values. So we have to get laser clear about what our values really are. And I've found that utilizing your strengths in partnership with your values is an amazing way to not only get to the root of your values, but also to have a tool for accelerating your strengths. Because your values can either be informed by your strengths or they can be activated by your strengths. And oftentimes it's both. So for example, with Amanda and her value of freedom, her top 5 strengths are harmony, includer, consistency, focus, futuristic. And you can see that, for example, her strength futuristic has made freedom important to her. Because with the strength of futuristic, she needs the freedom to be able to dream, to think big, to cast a vision for other people. So that her strength of futuristic, that underlying talent for her, has informed her value of freedom. And then on the other hand, her strengths have the opportunity to be kind of moved from talents to powerful strengths by following this value of freedom. So harmony and includer, for example, when she is living in this value of freedom, that harmony and includer are so much more at peace to be able to build bridges and to bring other people along. It's kind of like the chicken and the egg concept with your values and your strengths. Which one comes first? And the answer is both. That your values come from the way you're naturally wired, your strengths, and your talents, the way you're naturally wired, can be accelerated by putting your values on top of them. One way that I have discovered and used myself and in my work with other people to really narrow in on those values is a values sort. And it's very similar to the motivation sort that we did together in episode 22, where you start with a list of values and you begin to narrow it down. These things sound like me, these things don't sound like me. And you drill down further and further until you get to about 3 to 5 of your core values. And then it's so interesting to be able then to compare those to your strengths and say, how are my strengths activated by these values? And how have my strengths informed why these things are even important to me? Because that journey towards self-awareness is another tool for that, is what's going to make you the most successful and the most powerful and the most mature in your life. So that, when you are in that arena, as Brene says, that you will really know why you're there. That when you come across challenges, when you get knocked down, when you get a little bit dusty, you'll be reminded of why you are living your life so intentionally and purposely in the first place. So let's use this. And this one is for you as an individual to get more clarity around the decisions that you make in your role, no matter what that role is. And it starts with really identifying, narrowing in on your values. So first step is take a list of 25, 35 values that are out there and start to narrow them down, as I described in the episode, till you get to your top 3 or 5. And as you get to those most strong values for yourself, then step 3, start to think about them in relationship to your strengths. How are they activated by your strengths? How are your strengths activated by your values? Or how have your strengths informed those values? How did those values come to be? Start getting clarity around what those values actually are. And you can do this by Googling a list of values that is out there somewhere on the internet. Or I have a free resource available for you in association with this episode that really walks you through this entire activity, starting with that list of values and ending with some questions that help you reflect back on how your strengths might interact with your values, that you can get really clear about your decisions and filtering them through those values. So head on over to So Go Strong and pick up that free resource there. And in the meantime, I would love to connect with you. really just for the purpose of helping you. So if there's any way, any question that I can answer for you, I'd love to. You can connect with me over on the site at isogostrong.com and my handy little contact form, or you can connect with me at Twitter at isogostrong, Facebook at isogostrong. And if Isogo TV has been something that has been helpful to you, or if you've learned something from this episode, I would love for you to rate, review, and share it with the people that are around you. Rate and review over at iTunes and share it in your virtual circles or literally the person who's sitting next to you. Because there are people beside you that need to learn how to live from a place of strength as well, so that they can experience more success, more energy, less frustration all the way around. So thanks for joining me today, and I hope that you come along next week on Isogo TV.